We thank God for this opportunity. We thank God for how God has been helping us uh, in different ways. Yeah, I am Tim Tokwadui, and we'll be having um, to learn sentences of this contact. Having this contact with you is a wonderful thing, is a beautiful thing, is a great thing, is an awesome thing. And I hope you learn something new in today's class. Thank you for being part of this class. Quickly, we're going to be checking sentences in terms of definition, in terms of the function, in terms of their types, in terms of structure, in terms of function. And we're going to be talking about examples. Having a good knowledge of sentences is going to help us to be able to have a good construction of our statements, whether in written form or in spoken form. It is essential that we have a good understanding of sentences so that we will not be confused or we won't confuse our listeners or our readers. Let's quickly dive into these our topic for today. Sentences. Yes. How many of us have heard the word sentence? That looks strange. How can I be asking? How many of us have heard the word sentence? That looks strange. How can I be asking? We thank God for this opportunity. How can I be asking? Have you heard the word sentence before? It's strange. Yes. I need to ask just to check. Just to prepare our mind for what we're going to learn in today's class. Okay, now that you have heard the word sentence before, which is great, okay, I would want to quickly point our attention to something extraordinary, alright? I'm going to be pointing our heart to something critical that we might have known or that we will be coming in contact with for the first time. So quickly, what is a sentence? What do you think a sentence is? Can you quickly answer that question? What is a sentence? Can you say it? I didn't hear you. Okay. Now, if you look at your screen, you're going to see that a sentence, you know, is a set of words. Okay? A sentence is a set of words that conveys a complete thought. A sentence is a set of words that convey a complete thought. It typically includes a subject and a predicate. Alright? So, sentences are essential for our communication. Sentences are essential for, for us to be able to communicate our thoughts, to make a good presentation. Actually, they vary in terms of structure and function. Alright? And so, as we said, we're going to be learning sentences. So, a sentence, according to what you're seeing on the slide now, is a grammatical unit. A sentence is a grammatical unit that expresses a complete thought or idea. A complete idea or thought. Alright? It usually contains a subject, that is who or what the sentence is about. And a predicate, what is a predicate? Predicate is what is being said about the subject. That's what predicate is. Predicate is what is being said about the subject. So a sentence contains a subject, that is who or what the sentence is about. Alright. So we're going to be talking about component of sentence. Component of a sentence. A sentence includes subject. We said a sentence includes subject. Now, the subject, what is a subject? Now, the subject is the noun or pronoun. The noun or pronoun, that is the person, thing, place, or ideas or occasion that is performing the action. There is a particular person, there is a particular thing or something that is performing an action. That is the subject. Okay, so the subject is the noun or pronoun performing the action. Now the predicate is the action. That's the action or state of being. In other words, you can say a verb. In other words, you can say a verb. So we can say a sentence includes a subject and a verb. And that verb usually should be finite verb. A verb that can change the tense forms in a sentence without altering the grammatical structure of that sentence. So I think we must have learned that in phrases and clauses. Okay, so let's move on. So we're going to be talking about examples of sentences. All right. In general, let's just look. When we talk about sentences, can we have examples? So we have examples of sentences like the um, um, the shortest verse in the Bible, Jesus wept. That's a sentence. It includes a subject, that's Jesus, and wept, which is the action performed by the subject, Jesus. So let's quickly talk about the types of sentences we have. So we're going to be talking about structural types of sentences. Structural types of sentences. Number one. Okay, let's introduce that to us. Sentences can be classified based on their structure. Okay, the structure of sentences refers to the arrangement, um, the arrangement of its components. Okay, such as subject, predicate, and object, and all of that. So there are four types of structural sentences. Okay, number one, as you're looking at on the slide now, number one is what? A simple sentence. Number one is what? A simple sentence. Number two is a compound sentence. Number three is a complex sentence. And number four is going to be a compound complex. Yes, some people after number four they'll say there's mixed sentence or multiple sentence. Well, that should be a combination of any of these four sentences, as the case may be. Alright, so let's go to simple sentence. So let's go to simple sentence. What do we mean by simple sentence? A simple sentence consists of a single independent clause. It consists of a single independent clause. I'm sure you must know what a clause is. Now, so a simple sentence consists of a single independent clause with a subject and a predicate. It expresses a complete thought. It expresses what? A complete thought. Don't forget. Alright, now, what are the characteristics of this simple sentence? Number one, it contains one independent clause. Number two, it does not have a subordinate clause. I know by now you know what an independent clause is and what a subordinate clause is. So I don't think I need to start explaining that again. Good. So let's explain. Let's have examples of a simple sentence. Like the one I gave earlier, Jesus wept. Okay, so that's an example of a simple sentence. The sun sets is an example of a simple sentence. She enjoys reading is an example of a simple sentence. They are playing football, is an example of a simple sentence. We would also say, I will travel tomorrow. Simple sentence expressing a single idea. Alright, good. So let's go to the next type of sentence. We have the compound sentence. Compound sentence. What's a compound sentence? A compound sentence contains two or more independent clauses joined by a conjunction. Okay, such as and, but, or, etc., or a semicolon. Alright, so two ideas. The characteristics of these compound sentence is that it has two or more independent clauses joined by what? Coordinating conjunction. And I mentioned the coordinating conjunction, which are and, but, or if it is not joined by coordinating conjunction, it will be joined by semicolon. All right. So examples. Let's take examples. I wanted to go to the beach, but it started raining. You can see that. I wanted to go to the beach, but it started raining. That is an example. Another example is he loves football and she prefers basketball. There are two ideas now. There are two people we are talking about. The first one is what? He loves football. The second one is she prefers basketball. Bringing these two ideas together, we have what? He loves football and she prefers basketball. Those are two ideas. Now, she passed the exam, semicolon. You can see the dot, comma, that's the semicolon. And that is giving us an introduction to another idea. The other idea is what? He failed. She passed the exam, he failed. There are two different ideas, but brought together with that semicolon. Alright. The book is on the table, or the chair is nearby. Those are two ideas brought together with the use of what? Or. O-R. Okay, now let's go to another example, or another structural type of sentence. We have the complex sentence. Complex sentence. You know when you say complex, like complex. Okay, a complex sentence consists of one independent clause and at least one dependent subordinate clause. One what? Independent clause and at least one dependent or subordinate clause. You know, one main clause or one subordinate and at least one subordinate clause. So we bring two ideas together and we try to make sure that they merge using the independent and dependent clause together. Now, the characteristics of this is it consists of one independent clause and one or more dependent clause. That's a complex sentence. Example: although it was raining, we went for a walk. Although it was raining, we went for a walk. Although we are busy, but we had to attend the contact. She couldn't join the party because she had work. Because she had work. Okay, she had work. Okay. Another example. After the meeting, we went to lunch. Went to lunch. No. Another example, you say, if you study hard, you will pass the test. Yes, if you read very well, if you study very well, you will do well even in this institute. If you pray very well, if you read your Bible very well, you will be a good Christian. That's alright. So let's move on to the next type of structural sentence. We have the compound complex sentence. The compound complex sentence. Now, a compound complex sentence contains two or more independent clauses, alright, and at least one dependent word clause. It contains two or more independent clauses and contains at least one dependent clause. So that's an example of saying, okay, multiple listen, but of course, multiple independent clauses it contains multiple independent clauses and it contains at least one dependent clause. I hope you're following. Good. So let's take examples. While I was cooking, the phone rang and the dog barked. Just like when you're trying to introduce us to a scene. While I was cooking, the phone rang and the dog barked. That's an example. Another example is, you see that it ends with a full stop. So another example is, I studied for the exam, but I was still nervous because I hadn't slept well. So make sure you sleep well. It's good to do vigil and pray, but also sleep. So that's by the way. Alright. So another example is what? He likes to play guitar. And although he is talented, he likes to play guitar, comma, And although he's talented, he doesn't perform in public. Can you imagine? He doesn't perform in public. So let's take another example. She went to the market after she finished work and she bought uh, vegetables. You know, that's another example. She went to the market. That's an idea. She went to the market after she finished work. That's another idea. And she bought vegetables. So let's go to the functional types. I think you understand structural types now. The four of them: the compound, the simple, the compound, the complex, the compound complex. Okay, and I told you about the mixed. The mixed is bringing all these four types of sentences together in your passage, whichever way you want to. But it's good you just stay with them. Simple, compound, or just complex sentence. Just be simple in your expressions. All right, now let's go to functional types. Yes, sentences can also be categorized by their function. Okay, the function of a sentence refers to the purpose it serves in communication. What is this sentence doing? What is this sentence doing? Okay, this sentence is either it is declaring something, or it is interrogating something, or it is imperative, or it is exclamatory. The sentences perform these four main functions. Though it could also be volitive, like making an appeal or something like that. But let's stay with these four sentences. When we say a sentence is declarative, that is declarative sentence. That's number one functional, type of sentence. Declarative sentence. A declarative sentence makes a statement. A declarative sentence makes a statement or expresses an opinion. It makes a statement or expresses an opinion, and it ends with a period, with a full stop. A period is another word for full stop, so don't get confused. Okay. All right. So, what are the characteristics of this declarative sentence? Number one, it provides information. Okay, it provides information. It just gives us an information, and it usually ends with a full stop. It usually ends with what? A full stop, or in other words, period. So what are the examples? Number one, the sky is blue. That's just an information. Do you see? The sky is blue. The sky is blue. All right. Another example is she loves playing the piano. I don't know who loves playing piano. It's fine. All right. Somebody say, another example could be, I went to the movies yesterday. I went to the movies yesterday. That means maybe we went to church to watch a film. It's fine. All right. So the other example we have here is, this book is interesting. You must have read a book, maybe a godly book, or a textbook, or a storybook, or something, and you find it interesting, and you want to express it, you want to give an information to somebody, or you want to tell somebody about a book, you just say, this book is interesting. That is a declarative sentence. Okay, let's go to another type of functional types of sentence. Okay, we have the interrogative sentence. As I said earlier, interrogative sentence asks questions. Okay, interrogative sentences does what? Asks a question. Now, an interrogative sentence asks a question and usually ends with what? It usually ends with what? A question mark. It usually ends with a question mark. So whenever you are interrogating and you are writing it down, the end of that sentence must have question mark. It must have what? Question mark. Thank you very much for following. It shows you are following. Thank you very much. Now let's go on. Now, so I said the characteristics of this interrogative sentence is that it asks a question. Number two, it ends with what? A question mark. Okay. Now, what time? For example. Now I want to give example. What time is the meeting? What time is the meeting? Can you see that? What time is the meeting? Another example is, where is my phone? Like you're looking for a phone and you want to ask, where's my phone? Do you see that? Now, another example is, why are you upset? Like you're writing a script and you want to write a line. Somebody is giving an attitude and like, why are you upset? Okay, then how did you solve the problem? That's another interrogative. All of these sentences usually ends with what? A question mark. All of these sentences usually ends with what? A question mark. Another type of sentence is imperative. Imperative sentence. Imperative sentence. What do we mean by an imperative sentence? An imperative sentence gives a command. It gives what? A command. It makes a request or offers an invitation. It usually ends with a period, but can also end with an exclamation mark. Do you understand? It can also end with an exclamation mark for emphasis. Yes, especially when you want to emphasize. So what are the characteristics of this? Number one, we say issues a command, a request, or invitation. Do you understand? And another thing, another characteristic of these imperative sentences is that it often has an implied subject. It often has an implied subject, and that implied subject is you. Do you understand? For example, now let's look at this example. Close the door. Close the door. It looks as if there is no subject. Do you understand? And that implied subject is you. It's just like saying you close the door. You is the subject, then close the door. No, close is the action. The door is the object. So now another example of an imperative sentence is come here. That's a command. Come here. And you see that it ends with an exclamation mark. Then another example is God did it. No, sorry. Sorry, that's in exclamatory. Alright, another example we have here is sit down and relax. Sit down and relax. That is another example of an imperative sentence. Okay, let's go to the last type of the last functional type of sentence. And that is what can you see there? You're following. Exclamatory sentence. An exclamatory sentence expresses strong emotion or excitement, like shock, surprise, and all of that. So it ends with an exclamation mark. It usually ends with an exclamation mark. That one that used to face down, or that high that used to face down. Alright, what's the characteristics of an exclamatory sentence? Number one, it shows strong feelings or excitement. It shows strong feeling or excitement. Number two, it ends with an exclamation mark. Okay, it ends with what? An exclamation mark. Now, what are the examples? Okay, examples. What a beautiful sunset. That's an exclamation mark. This is amazing. Oh, sorry. What a beautiful day. What a beautiful day. Just wake up and you feel wow. You feel blessed. You feel great. You feel, fulfilled. Like, what a beautiful day. And you see that day is exclamatory. And you say another example, this is amazing. This is amazing. When God does something great, you're like, wow, this is amazing. Another example is God did it. Hallelujah. That's an exclamation mark. Alright. Excuse me. Alright. Now, let's have a quick recap, okay? The structural types of sentences. We have the simple, we have the compound, we have the complex, we have the compound complex. And the functional types of sentences, we have the what? Declarative, we have the interrogative, we have the imperative, we have the exclamatory. Alright. Then, what are the key differences in these two types of sentences? in terms of structure, when we talk about the structural type focuses on how the sentence is built. Do you understand? The composition of that sentence. So a sentence can be built, is usually built with an independent clause, strictly independent clauses, or just one independent clause. Or sometimes it can be built with independent clause and dependent clause. Okay? Now, when it now comes to function, okay, functions usually focuses on the purpose the sentence serves. The purpose the sentence serves. Sometimes the sentence can serve as statement, another time it can serve as a question, sometimes another time it can serve as a command or exclamation. I hope you have been able to follow to this point. I thank you for taking your time to listen to this class, and I hope you have learned one or two wonderful things. If you have any question, please drop it. Put a comment down. Do you understand? And definitely, by the mercy of God, I'm going to attend to all the questions. Yes. Thank you for listening, and God bless you. Bye.